The next big thing in creative writing. New applications for creative writing degrees. Creative writing is a growing degree. Schools that are known for being distinguished offer creative writing degrees, and the number of degrees grows every year. Creative writers are typically known for writing fiction and fantasy, being novelists and screenwriters, or blogging, all very much similar. Creative writers typically aspire to be Shakespeare. He was known by most cultures all around the world, read in almost every high school, and he did a little bit of everything. Though he was an English writer, this statue is in Germany. Current jobs related to creative writing degrees are novelist, blogger, screenwriter, and teaching creative writing. Many English majors and departments look down on creative writing degrees for their informal approach on the writing process and rules. Many of the first critics to achieve a foothold in the university did so on the strength of their poetry, not criticism, so says Gerald Graff. Creative writing can do so much more. Creative writing refers to the creative process that writers go through when doing their work. It brings more of an art than an analytical side to writing, and it can make anything interesting. So, in other words, all writing is creative writing. Things creative writers can do. We can do editing, textbook writing, and even fact articles for newspapers. This brings a whole new job spectrum of editor, speechwriter, textbook contributor, and journalist. The next big thing in creative writing is a new market for us writers. We've been selling ourselves short for too long.
The start of film. Who invented the movie film camera? It is said that Thomas Edison was the inventor of the motion picture camera. In 1889, William Dixon created the kinetograph that was used with film to create a motion picture due to the creation that Thomas Edison had earlier created. The new big thing, digital camera for movies. What is the new big thing in the film industry? The use of digital cameras to create movies instead of film cameras. Some directors still use the film cameras for certain things or jobs, but the new thing to use is the digital use on movies. The camera went from being extremely heavy and large to carry and use, to now a camera that can fit in a small suitcase or bag after shooting and be easily carried out of the studio. How much smaller and durable will these cameras become in the use of digital cinema? How much more can change? The pros of digital versus film. It is a lot cheaper to use digital rather than film because you don't have to pay to get film developed. You can now just upload the information to a computer or database and use it at that time. 2. Digital is easier to use than film because you don't have to reload film into the camera or make sure the film is loaded correctly. Digital, you can just press a button to start and stop recording. 3. Editing is made much easier because digital is simple to put effects in or cut sections out where you want, and film is much more difficult to do so. Because digital is much easier for all people to obtain and use, students have been working with their towns to create small-budget movies, such as a student in Harrisburg, Pennsylvania, who created a film with much of his town. The durability of digital cameras has become a great opportunity to many, and hopefully it will start to become the next big thing with many new upcoming film students.
Speech recognition software has been around since the early 50s and is being implemented and improved upon, and even now with such programs like Dragon or Siri. It's being used for all sorts of things, like writing or performing certain tasks like making a phone call. In fact, militaries around the world are starting to use them, mainly in aircraft, such as the American F-35 Lightning or the French Mirage. Speech recognition systems are changing in the way not only how writing is done for some, but for the world as a whole. The F-35 will be the first U.S. fighter aircraft after the speech recognition system able to hear a pilot's spoken commands to manage various aircraft subsystems, such as communications and navigation.
The 70s also marked another important milestone or two during the decade, including Bell Laboratories' production of a system that could interpret several people's voices.
In the same decade, the first commercial speech recognition company, Threshold Technology, was founded. During the 80s, there was a massive leap in speech recognition vocabulary due in thanks to new approaches in what people say. One reason this was possible was due in part to a statistical method called the hidden Markov model. Well, rather than using word templates or looking at sound patterns, it took unknown sounds into consideration and considered their probability of being words. With recent advances in speech recognition software, with products such as Siri and Dragon, we will see their genesis continue onward into further use by militaries and commercial companies, like when Microsoft used their Kinect system to further the use of the Xbox 360. Now, here's a quick clip from Tom Clancy's End War video game showing the use of speech recognition software so that the player can play the whole game using only their voice.
Units, move to Delta.